Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another vlog, another video on the channel. And don't mind me coming out of my closet. That's just, an everything or an everyday thing I do. That's besides the point. Today, we are back with another Q&A. Now, I have not done one of these in a bit on the channel. I kind of had to quit doing these. If I just pull this up on my laptop, when's the last Q&A video I did before we get started? Because, it's been a bit over a year ago. Let's just say a year and a half ago. And I kind of had to quit since then and just be more direct in my videos whatsoever. But all in all, I have made a poll on Instagram asking whether or not I should bring it back, and you guys wanted it back. So I then uploaded a form, you guys sent some questions, and we have, as of right now, what I'm looking at, 22 questions to answer. So this, I don't know what to expect. I have not read any of these, but I'll try to give my best input from what I knew beforehand versus what I know now. So it's not really much of an introduction there. I don't really know what else to say or know or expect. But I'm really fucking dry right now. I don't have water. But let's just move on to the video. Let's just get started with the first question. Just pull it up. I want to try a different camera angle and see if that worked. Worked so far. First one. Why are your videos so long? Okay, so, god damn it, stay. It's not, god damn it, that's not how it's supposed to work. Let me try that again. Oh my goodness. Why are your videos so long? This is a decent start to the video. The reason for that is because whenever I'm like mid-set or whatever, I try my best to explain what's going on, what's happening, why am I doing it, and what the benefits are, all that stuff. Like each time I try to give my best input to whatever the hell I'm doing so that people are aware and get a nice understanding of just, in general what it is and what's happening. So you might notice that some videos are well over 40 minutes long, 50 minutes long. And that's just like, most of it is just me giving input throughout my sets. But that's the main reason why my videos are so long. Because I tried to just explain everything in general. That was an easy question. Let's get rid of that one. Will you bring back the original video? Oh, wait, sorry. Will you bring back the original outro where you're sitting in your room recapping everything? Okay, now I have been getting this a bit, and safe to say, not really, because my outros are mostly just me actually recapping everything and giving my opinions and all that stuff. So there's really no need to do a second outro after that, where I'm in my room recapping everything. Whereas I'm doing that on my way home and on my way out of the gym. So I'm kind of already doing that. But whether or not for me to do it back in my room, that's still a debate. but most of my outros are now just outside of the gym and not in my room. So that's that. All right, next question. Would you nuke France? I think I might have an idea who gave me this question. Would I nuke them? That is, I don't know if we're talking in game, in real life. I don't know if I can give my opinion on that. I mean, the French people have never really done anything to me, but all in all, that's still like a 50-50. So, all right, next one. Do you know what cardio is since you're a power lifter? Yes, I know what cardio is, and I just choose to do less of it to conserve calories. I know it sounds a bit off edge or something like that, but it's true. I'm gonna keep getting Discord messages. So, all right, next question. We're getting through these like pretty easily so far, so I don't know what else to expect. Do you ever do more than 5 reps, or is that against the rules for you? That really depends what I'm working with and where I am now. If I want to train for strength, then I do less than 5 reps, yes, with extremely heavy weight that I can do comfortably. But if it's more than 5 reps, then it's just basically volume work, hypertrophy work, which I also do, but not when I'm PRing, not when I'm like really trying to get strong. So 5 reps, more than 5 reps actually, it's just basically recovery work, trying to get somewhere, promote stimulus, all that stuff. But no, it's not against the rules for me. I do volume work as well. So, next question. How come you rest longer than you actually lift? So, with many exercises that take up a lot of energy, you might need more rest than you actually think you do. So, let's say, for instance, I just deadlifted a shit ton of weight, and that took most of the energy out of me. If I try to return back to the deadlift bar and try doing the lift again within like 1, 2, 3 minutes of rest, I'm not really gonna be able to do that lift, right? Because the body needs more recovery time than that. Because you just put all your energy and effort into one single deadlift rep. So your body definitely needs more time to recover just from that than you think. So, and sometimes my rest periods take more than 10-20 minutes alone, and that's completely normal. That's completely normal whenever you start powerlifting, whenever you start actually training, actually like training for strength and just going all out. You're definitely going to need more rest than your body intends. So, that's without doubt. Next question. Do you have any other hobbies outside of the gym? Well, you probably might have noticed already. There's one right in the background. I play piano, and I've recently gone into skateboarding. So that's fun. I like traveling, just like domestically. Internationally, it's a bit more of a struggle, but domestically, it's easier. I've been to many states across the US. I've been in many foreign countries. So it was fun. It was fun for a time, right? But I've just resorted here, and now I'm doing what I love best. But I would love to travel more. I would really love to travel more, if only. So let's see. Next question. My bench is 185 and it's been stuck like that for months. I want to hit 225. How do I increase my bench? Okay. So we've all been in this situation before where we're stuck, we've plateaued officially in some sort of lifts, and we want to break past it. And that's going to require you doing a lot of volume and heavy work. So, what I would suggest doing is stop PRing as much. That's for one. Two, bench at least, or have chest day at least 2-3 times a week, right? If you're going consistently to the gym, have one day where you're doing 3 sets of 3 with 80-90% of your 1 rep max, right? And then do 2 back offsets. And what does that mean? That means take off like 20-30% of the weight and just start repping it out for like 2 sets until you can't anymore. And then have another day where you're doing volume work. So basically 5 sets of 5. And after that, you do another back off set for 2 sets, right? 2 sets till failure. That's how I got my bench up. And another thing, you need to train your triceps like a lot, because if you plateau a lot and most of the time when you're going for a PR, the bar is basically stuck at the midpoint of the rep. That midpoint is where your triceps have to execute in order to push the bar up, not your chest, because your chest has done the hard part of pushing it to at least right here. Now it's mostly the triceps that remain that do the work. So you're gonna need to train triceps a lot, like moderately heavy. So for that, I'd say do close grip bench, do tricep push downs, and overhead cable extensions. Those are one of my 3 favorite exercises that has strengthened my triceps every time I'm going for a bench PR. Eat a lot. Make sure you're eating a surplus. Make sure you're sleeping well, staying hydrated, taking supplements, etc. So just mostly have some sort of push days where at one point you're going heavy and at another point you're going light and just focusing on form, volume, etc. That's mostly it. That's my best input I can give you. Trust me, you will see your bench changing. I would also suggest adding some unilateral work. And what does that mean to new generations of audience? That basically means training each side of your body or each side of your muscle like individually. So let's say dumbbell press, right? One at a time. This teaches muscle control and fixes imbalances that you might have. So that's that's probably my best input I can give as of so far. All right, so what's the next question? Do genetics matter when you first start lifting? I'm going to say 100% it does, because you're not always going to have the same strengths and same looks as somebody else. Everybody else is different in their own way. And that's not to say you can't get strong with shitty genetics. Of course you can. You just gotta put the effort in. But would genetics matter in this sort of situation? Yes, it would, because you don't know what's gonna grow better and what's just gonna completely stop growing until you actually start putting effort in, start lifting, and all that stuff. And another reason genetics matter is because you can see when you're lifting, you can see a bunch of weak points that you could fix potentially. But I would say 70% of the time they're unfixable because they just naturally stay like that. You've been naturally gifted that, and you can't really change much about it. But genetics help in a way because once you start lifting, once you start progressing, you'll be able to see your strengths and you'll be able to see your weaknesses. So that's something that people should look more into and not use the excuse, oh, I have shitty genetics. I can't lift. I can't do nothing at all. No. Just because your body looks like shit doesn't mean it should stop you from taking care of it, nourishing it, and like putting effort into anything. Right. Next question. What's your biggest insecurity as a lifter? That is a really good question. Then again, I probably don't have a lot of insecurities when I'm lifting, but probably the most common one, which I'm most definitely not the only one that has this, body dysmorphia. And I always feel like that whenever I'm lifting, like eye to eye, I feel incredibly small. Like I feel like I haven't changed at all, and I'm no really just not taking credit for what I actually look like to other people compared to how I see myself. And yeah, it's been haunting me ever since. Then again, I really don't care because I've gotten so used to it. But also, sometimes it hits me when it's completely unexpected. So that's all I can say for that, for that matter. Let's see. Thoughts on the World Cup? They're going pretty strong. They're going pretty strong. Some people lost, some people didn't. I wanted to see the World Cup in person actually, but didn't get tickets. So it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. But based on this question alone, probably who's going to win. And that's most likely the idea behind this question. And I know a lot of people have asked this before, like asked this to each other, Ronaldo, Ronaldo or Messi. And probably have to go with Ronaldo, dude. That guy, if you guys don't know, like at all, like what this dude did, like early 2008, it's fucking ridiculous. Like people usually don't give Ronaldo enough credit, like completely. They just think Messi's better. Sure, Messi's a better player, but like, man, Ronaldo was something else. So thoughts on it? Honestly, nothing much. It's going strong. So, what's the next one? Am I better off training until I fail? Oh, wait, I read that wrong. I can't see. Am I better off training until failure or with modern intensity? I know I've said this multiple times and I will say it again. 100% of the time, you should train to failure because how are you going to know what your body's natural limit is? Right. So, with just like any other set that you do, always try to push yourself physically than you take credit for, unless you're like trying to get out of rehab and something. Sure, go with modern intensity. But why not go to failure? Why are you just gonna sit there just I don't know. Let's say you're doing a push down. You're just gonna push down some lightweight, some baby weight. You're not even gonna try to train like as hard as you can. Because like think about it, how bad do you want it? How bad do you really want to be strong? Like you really want to fill out that that gap. Really want to fill out that gap. I need water. I need oh god damn it. My bad. I need water because it's not really doing it for me. But then again, it just doesn't make sense in my mind. Why wouldn't you want to try to push yourself to failure with every set you get? Right? So, to answer your question, you are far better off training until failure compared to modern intensity. Right? It's just better. It just gives your body a real challenge that not a lot of people like at all. So, oh, so would you rather question? Would you rather be incredibly strong but never look like you lift, or look like a bodybuilder but have average strength? That is difficult. That is really difficult. Okay. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Be incredibly strong but never look like you lift, or look like a bodybuilder but have average strength. I mean, honestly, I don't really care for looks. I'm more of a strength kind of guy. So to answer your question, I would be incredibly strong but never look like I lift. So just to like surprise people, I feel like that would be pretty fun for like a skit or something, or just like pull up to some sort of powerhouse and just start outlifting grown men. I feel like that would look pretty good. But having a body, yeah, I can't fucking speak. Looking like a bodybuilder, but having average strength, it's just not for me. I mean, sure, I'll have my dream physique, but like, for what? For what? If it's not directly like functional muscle, like why the fuck would I want it? So that answers that. Who do you look up to as a lifter? Who's your idol? All right, so same question, just a different idea. I know I've said this multiple times. I will say it again. Most definitely, I look up to Sam Sulik, of course, because he is most definitely one of the reasons that got me into lifting in general, right? Those videos of his peaked, and now seeing him just super far ahead compared to where he was now. He won his first show, he won his pro card. He's fucking married too, which I don't know. I saw a tweet of that or a fucking Instagram post about it. I was like, I looked like this for like 20 fucking minutes straight. And to think that one of my favorite idols of all time, who is just known for like being scared of women, being afraid of women, just running away from them, is fucking married? Damn. That just shows how far he is into his career, and I am super proud of him. I'm like genuinely like, wow. So if that dude doesn't inspire you to get to where he is now, I don't know who will. I mean, there's a lot of other idols that people look up to, a lot of bodybuilders, but Sam in particular really had a direct course of impact with me, my mentality as a lifter. So he's he's a great one. He's a great guy, and I would love to meet him in real life someday, sometime. I don't know when. Hopefully sooner or later. It's gonna be some sort of meet and greet, probably Cali or something like that. But Yeah, Sam Sulik all the time. All the fucking time. All the fucking time. Powerlifting wise, Larry Wheels. If you guys don't know who he is, look him up. What do you think is the most misinformed thing about the gym in general? Hmm. Good question. And this is just mostly an opinion based question. And to be honest, I don't know. There's a lot of misinformed things. Like going to the gym at a young age will stunt your growth. Creatine is bad for you. Hmm. Lifting heavy will kill you. Whey protein will kill you. I don't know. I don't really think there's like a big misinformed thing. Like there's not like none of these misinformed things like take up place like first place and all that stuff. They just all kind of have their same level. But if I had to give an opinion about it, it's that lifting at a young age will stunt your growth. No, the fuck it will not. I don't know where you got this from, who told you this, but lifting at a young age will actually have a benefit for you when you're an adult. Sure, it might stunt your growth by a little bit, but at that point, you'd be much healthier and life will be much easier for you. So, you know. And about the creatine being drugs thing, no, it's not. No, it is not. I ran out of creatine, but I used to take creatine all the time, and it has helped me a lot in my lifting career. So, yeah, that one is answered. I'm eating as much as I can, but I'm not gaining weight. How can I fix that? So, first of all, when you say you're eating, you know, as much as you can, you're probably not eating enough. You probably think you're eating a lot, but you're just probably eating things that are filled with fiber that are just making you fuller like a lot quicker. So, first off, what I would suggest is tracking your macros, right? Trying to see how much weight you gained in a week and take the average of that, right? But first, find your maintenance calories. And then, if you want to gain weight, eat between 1,000 to 2,000 calories above your caloric maintenance. It's not really a lean bulk. If you want to gain weight as fast as you can, then your best bet is to start with 1,000 calories above your caloric maintenance. So let's say your caloric maintenance is 2,500. Add 1,000. So you're supposed to be eating 3,500 calories a day. So not really much input I can give on that. You're also probably most likely not eating like the right foods that will help with gaining weight. So I suggest looking into that. Eating like, eggs, ground beef, Greek yogurts, etc. I don't see how this could be an issue if you do it right. But then again, it could be a beginner lifter who knows nothing about eating right, going to the gym. So there's my honest input about that. Track your macros so you know how much exactly you're eating and stop eating foods with so much fiber because fiber will keep you fuller for longer and will fill you up quicker. So you need to eat foods with less fiber and more carbs, obviously more protein. So, yeah. What is the most reliable thing ever that decides how a person grows? I know I've said this previously. Calories. Your calorie intake daily will determine whether or not you lose or gain weight or just grow in general. That is super important. Let's say you got the lifting right. Let's say you sleep well, you train hard, but if you're not eating calories, if you're not like intaking your daily goal of calories, how are you going to expect all that effort to be put into something that grows within you? How are you going to expect to grow out of it? Sure, you get good sleep, you train hard. What about the calories? Calories are the main thing your body needs in order to recover. Not only those two things, not only sleep is very important, but calories is also another important thing that your body needs in order to determine whether or not it should stay the same, it should take muscle out of your body for energy. So, yeah, calories are a very important thing that a lot of people should be looking out for more often. So, I'm probably gonna have to hold the mic like this because hear that. I don't really know. It's a cheap ass mic, and every time I just move my head around or something like that, you guys hear this noise. So I'm gonna try to stay as still as possible with this mic so that I can give my input directly without it just making noises. So, do you support the LGBTQ community? Hmm. Can't say I do, but I also don't. No comment on that. No comment on that. That is not that's something in my opinion that shouldn't exist. It didn't exist when I was younger, but it exists now. And I don't know why it exists. What's the purpose of it? Like at all. So no comment on that. If you were to choose one exercise you would do for the rest of your life, what would it be? Good question. If I had to choose one, it would probably be deadlift. I mean, come on. A lot of people will say that's a controversial opinion and that would they would probably choose, bench press over deadlift. But I'm more of a deadlifter than I am of a bench presser. And the reason for that is I have gotten so far with deadlifting, right? My entire posterior chain has strengthened over time just from consistently deadlifting. And I've never really gotten any other benefits from any other exercise except deadlifting. So, just for that, I would choose to do deadlifts for the rest of my life over everything else. Over bench press, over squat, over dumbbell press, over curls. You just have everything you need when you're deadlifting, right? You're activating your entire posterior chain in order to execute the lifts. You're using your forearms to hook onto the bar, and you're keeping your chest up at all times. So that's without a doubt one of the best exercises for me. This one's a bit deep. How do you find motivation to go to the gym? All right. So 99% of the time, you probably won't have motivation. It will just go. It will just not be there for you when you need it. But you got to understand that you can't always rely on motivation to get shit done. It's kind of supposed to be like a now or never situation where if you don't get it done, you'll never get it done, all that stuff. And for me personally, that's kind of that exact same situation, but I want to get it done. Because if I don't get it done, I'll have instant regret not getting it done, regardless of what mood I'm in. Yeah. And to answer that, you're not going to always feel like killing it in the gym. You're probably going to feel tired. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel stressed. And that's the hard part. But 99% of the time, when you're like that and you're trying to rely on motivation to help you push, it's just going to end up going because motivation is not something that's meant to stay. It comes and goes. But the only thing that stays is discipline, right? You got to start relying on discipline and consistency more over motivation. Sure, you'll have it for like 2 minutes, but like, what's the fucking point? You've done one lift for like 2 minutes and it's gone. You're just gonna stop there? Come on. You really gotta try to get a hold of yourself and just say, I have to do this. Like I have to go lift. I have to fucking take care of myself. I have to be consistent. I gotta do this whether I hate it or not. You know, that's sort of like my mindset right there. Like, just to sum it up, if you don't do it now, you're gonna regret it later. All right. And a lot of people regret it and they just continue doing the same thing. But if you're like me and you want to get it over with, then get it over with. Like, get that shit done. You can't have motivation as like your best friend. You can't rely on it all the time because it's not going to be there all the time. It's just going to be somewhere else. Somewhere where you really need it most. But how do you fix that situation? You need to get a hold of yourself and just do it anyway. I mean, what's the point in stopping? Like, are you really just going to stop because you lost motivation? That's not hard work. That's not that's not staying consistent. That's not committing. That's not committing to something. You got to learn to commit. I've talked about this in many of my videos. That commitment is key to everything. Because how else are you going to expect to progress further in life if you're just going to be relying on motivation 99% of the time? It just doesn't make sense. All right, we got two more questions. Thoughts on California's recent tax fight? I don't, I don't, how the fuck do you want me to answer that? I'm not a politician. I don't really know how to fucking answer that. California's, do I have to Google that? Do I have to Google that? Hold up, let me Google that. Cali's tax fight. I don't know who the fuck would write me a question on something I wouldn't know. California is heading into an expensive high stakes battle over the California Billionaire Tax Act, a proposed ballot measure that will appear in the November 2026 ballot. Why the fuck am I reading this? Why would I care about some political fight over billionaires, especially in California? That's not something you probably don't want to be around in. Gavin Newsom calls for national billionaire tax. Why the fuck am I reading this? I shouldn't be reading this like at all. Thoughts on it? I have no idea. I'm not a politician. I don't know what's going on with these taxes, but just stop it. All right. I don't I don't really know how the fuck you want me to answer that. But final question. Are you favorite character in Clash Royale? Hmm. Well, I haven't played the game in a bit, so I kind of forgot everything. But if I had to choose a favorite character, most definitely P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. I love the concept of it. Not like the mini P.E.K.K.A, like the actual big ass P.E.K.K.A. The mother P.E.K.K.A. It's pretty strong. and it will just always be my favorite character, like over everything. And I do have some other favorites: Mini P.E.K.K.A, the Witch, uh, Giant. You know, I feel pretty newbie just listing that shit out. I feel pretty newbie just by listing that shit out. But you know, P.E.K.K.A over everything. I might not have like a favorite dedicated like spell or character or whatever the fuck. But P.E.K.K.A, I've always used P.E.K.K.A as like my finishing move whenever I'm in Clash Royale. And I'd win 99% of the time. Just like 2 hits on the King's Tower and bam, win instantly 3 crowns. But the worst thing about it is it cannot take a whole skeleton army. That is like its only weakness. And I fucking hated people doing that. And I don't even have like a spell. I don't even use spells like at all. Or used to. I just have only characters. The only spell I would particularly have in my deck would most likely be arrows. But nonetheless, nothing really much to say about that. And that concludes today's Q&A. That concludes everything of all my honest opinions. I mean, I know it's probably not the best, but people wanted it to be brought back. And, I did bring it back. So, that probably concludes today, Sunday, whatever fuck. Tomorrow we have chess day, but I'm still debating whether or not I should try some sort of bodybuilder chess day. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really know what's going to be on the agenda for tomorrow. I'm hoping to go with my homeboy, and if not, it's going to be another solo lift, and then probably Chipotle right afterwards. But yeah, that sums up today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday. God damn these fucking voice cracks. I'm just gonna go back in the closet where I came from. All right. Bye.